Which material is most important for the survival of living things? Surely, many times you have asked yourself this question. You might think the answer is air. Of course, if you lack oxygen for about 1 minute, your brain cells will gradually die. After 3 minutes, your brain has been seriously damaged, and in the end, you cannot escape death after 5 minutes. However, there are also people who believe that water is the most important thing. According to a scientific study, if you lack food, you can still maintain your life, but without water, you will die within 2 to 4 days. Water is extremely important. You know, the first great civilizations of mankind were formed right next to the basins of great rivers. A scientist has confirmed that where there is water, there will certainly exist life. But is this statement really accurate? This is what humans have found on Mars, a distant planet in the solar system. It is water. If so, does life exist on Mars? Can that planet replace Earth as humans' second home in the future? Welcome back to the latest video from the primordial universe. Does life exist on Mars? Whether or not life is present on Mars has probably become a concern for researchers since water was proven to actually exist on this planet. This is the ship responsible for helping humans monitor and observe Mars. It seems to have completed part of the mission assigned by NASA by bringing back many extremely important photos from the human research process. According to Sai Alud, planetary scientists from the Planetary Science Institute in Arizona, USA, have identified in records images clay-bearing deposits throughout Margaritifer Terra, the area located right south of the equator. Mars has a chaotic and ancient terrain. Take a look at the clearer image the device captured of the red planet's surface. Impressive, right? This image is no different from the mudflats found somewhere around where we live. Project scientists Ashwin and Savada, whose project will conduct Carroll City at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California, said this is the clearest evidence of water and waves we have recorded during the entire mission. Why do they assert that? The clay or mudflats you are seeing indicate the long-term presence of water, as it forms under neutral pH conditions with minimal water evaporation. The research team believes that water flowed here about 3.8 billion years ago to 2.5 billion years ago. According to the lead researcher, Dr. Catherine, the bright, colorful tone, relatively low subsidence, and clay content for a distance of 200 kilometers are evidence that a lake most likely appeared in the basin. Lardon area and to the north are Don and Lead about 3.7 billion years ago. A little north of the equator, a huge flood swept a rock into a large lake formed in the crater of a volcano. It is estimated that this lake has a diameter of up to 45 kilometers. The rock was thrown into the lake and gradually sank to the bottom. Such floods were probably familiar to ancient Earth. But this is not Earth. This is a lake that has existed on the surface of Mars since ancient times. And of course, there is not just one, but countless lakes like this that have existed on that planet. They look just as familiar as the surface of the Earth, right? According to reports from the European Space Agency, water on Mars is freezing in the Valles Marineris Valley. At the same time, running along the surface of Mars with an estimated length of more than 4,000 kilometers, width of more than 200 kilometers, and depth of up to 7 kilometers, most of the water on Mars is located in the polar regions in the form of ice. However, the Valles Marineris region lies right next to the Martian equator. Igor Mitrofanov, an expert from the European Space Agency, said, "With the ExoMars spacecraft in orbit, we can analyze the geological layer 1 meter deep underground, knowing what's really going on, happening under the surface of Mars, and most importantly, identifying previously undetectable water oases." This spacecraft used a detector, thereby identifying an area in Valles Marineris containing unusually high amounts of hydrogen. This means it is possible that a large lake existed here in the past. Scientists say the water storage area at Valles Marineris has an area equivalent to the current Netherlands. The phenomenon occurring in Valles Marineris is similar to permafrost areas on Earth, where frozen water exists under dry soil. According to the team, the water most recently flowed along the basin southwest of Ladon. Sediments here match another part of Mars, the Eberswalde Plain, just south of this studied area. Our results indicate that clay deposits deposited by running water in the Eberswalde are not unusual in recent times, as we see many examples of similar young valleys where deposited clay. Explaining the presence of water on Mars is important to determine whether life could have been supported at some point on the planet. The distribution of clay and other rocks that the researchers discovered is consistent with the possibility of water clinging around this terrain. Furthermore, clay is a source of nutrients and stabilizers in the surrounding environment. They may have given organisms the opportunity to survive and thrive significantly in the past. The above discovery is consistent with long-standing suspicions about the Mawari region because the chaotic terrain here is said by NASA to be sculpted by raging water currents, including floods. But where there is water, life can exist. This is what we can see on the surface of Mars, and this is the Atacama Desert, one of the harshest deserts in the world. According to scientists, the rock structure found on the surface of Mars is no different from Atacama. Therefore, this desert even became the setting for a movie about Mars. But not only is there liquid water on the surface, the planet also has a protective and insulating atmosphere, has air warmer than Earth, and seems to be habitable. But it seems it's all in the past. Earth's history has gone through billions of years with many ups and downs, and of course in the Milky Way, similar changes are still silently taking place. Curiosity stimulates the human brain. We use modern tools to search for unsolved mysteries, and questions about Mars are no exception. What has really happened on Mars over the past millions, even billions of years? Why did Mars, from a small, wet, warm planet like Earth, become the arid, cold, and harsh place it is today? Why is it now turning into layers of ice lying on the ground? Earth and Mars have different operating orbits. The strange and tiny points of light we often see in the night sky could be any asteroid out there in the Milky Way. The ancient Greeks saw Mars as one of the planets wandering the vast sky. The red color it possesses is a symbol of war, violence, or conflict. Do you still remember this man? The person who made the assertion, no matter what, the Earth still rotates, actually made a great contribution to human astronomy, and he was the one who saw Mars for the first time through a telescope in the early 17th century. As astronomy gave way to astronomy, humanity's view of a mystical entity became obsolete. At this time, Mars truly becomes a real place, another world existing with Earth. Mars has opened a new door, stimulating human curiosity like a magnet. As we stare at Mars with telescopes, are creatures doing the same thing as humans? But unfortunately, people at that time still did not have enough technology to find the answer to that. As time silently passed, humanity's level of science and technology also advanced dramatically, and scientists once again continued their research journey on Mars with the desire to decode the planet. We still can't move on Mars the way we can on the surface of the Moon, but at least modern machines have been sent there. They research this place on behalf of humans, just like we are observing the surface of Mars ourselves, right? NASA's spacecraft, rovers, and landers actually let us see a rocky surface with the dominant red color. For example, the Perseverance spacecraft has been sent to research and carry out a very important mission on Mars since 2021 to explore the now dry lake bed that we mentioned above. It is making constant efforts to find life on this planet. The data that Perseverance has provided really helps scientists understand the geological activities of Mars in the past, like the flood nearly 4 billion years ago. This place once had a relatively dense atmosphere, just like Earth's. It is completely suitable for the life of living creatures. But we need to learn more about the formation of this planet to understand why it changed so dramatically. Like the common home we live in, this planet was formed 4.6 billion years ago from clouds of dust and debris orbiting the Sun. Have you ever wondered what role the Earth's core plays? Yes, that is the Earth's core. According to research by scientists, this glowing part provides energy for the creation of the magnetic field and protects the planet from many forms of harmful radiation, while also playing an important role in the ability to exist. The special thing we need to note is that it seems that the center of the red planet also had a molten iron core, creating its own magnetic field. Our Earth is still lucky to possess a strong and active magnetosphere, suitable for human life. This magnetosphere is like an invisible shield, protecting us from the effects of charged particles escaping from the sun. However, Mars is not like that. During its development, it lost its magnetosphere and of course was exposed to solar wind activity. Over time, the solar winds stripped Mars of its thick atmosphere, moisture, or warmth. As a result, the cold and arid planet we see now formed. You see, this is Earth, and this is Mars today. This difference in size is easy to see with the naked eye because its diameter is only half that of Earth, so its core cools faster than other planets. This causes the dynamical effect to be completely neutralized and the Martian atmosphere to be directly exposed to the full solar wind. The planet's rivers, lakes, and even ancient oceans have all evaporated, frozen, or become trapped in rocks that cannot be retained. Although there is evidence of lake beds, valleys, or seabeds left on the planet's surface, life is uncertain. So are there any living creatures still existing until now? What we mean is that, in the midst of the Atacama's harsh conditions, flowers can still bloom. So are there any resilient creatures still clinging to the cold and arid surface? Have they burrowed underground, out of sight of human equipment or machinery? The Earth went through an ice age as well as extensive genocides that caused the dinosaurs to completely disappear. But you see, life is still resiliently going on. There are many ancient creatures that still exist in the water and permafrost in Antarctica. It proves that bacteria are indeed the most resilient species. They can adapt to the harshest environments, and there are indeed some clues that there were or even are creatures on Mars. If that is indeed the case, it would seem that University of Texas geologist Jungley's claim that Earth is unique in our solar system in that it has a magnetic field and is habitable is outdated.